morning, everybody. I want to join, I said I want to join in the words of welcome to members of the media, and to say that we are prepared, we are prepared for a fulsome question and answer session with you, and we will stay here as long as you wish for us to be here. I want to...
The meeting last night was something good.
Yeah, we had a very good meeting last night. I want to say from the outset that this has been a most careful and serious exercise by the People's National Party to unveil our manifesto yesterday. It represents a process of thorough analysis, data-driven, and in the final evidence-based, and in the final analysis, a document that we believe can stand the test of time. And this is born largely from a role that we have played as opposition, as a responsible opposition. And in my own areas, you can trace in presentations made in Parliament, in the sectoral debate in 2008, 2009, 2010, an opposition that was prepared to engage in serious dialogue and debate, and in the end to put forward ideas based on our experience, based on our recent learning, thinking, based on our recent analysis. And again, everything is evidence-based. I don't think we've had a receptive enough government in relation to those proposals. Again, going back to some of the areas that I have responsibility for, we're very much prepared to work with the minister who has responsibility for telecommunications to develop and put in Parliament a new policy. It was, I think for the first time, we were seeing an opposition spokesperson who went and met with the civil service. I was invited by the minister to sit with them to go through aspects of the policy. We signed off on the policy, and of course, as in all the other areas, implementation has been a major downfall of this government. As opposition, we put forward proposals for the removal of partisanship from the development and implementation of policies. So this year, when the leader of the opposition proposed the Energy Council, it was with that in mind, to see how we can take energy, which is probably the most significant impact on business today in terms of the high cost to business and our uncompetitiveness, to see how we could remove that from the realm of political competition and to emerge with a united approach towards the implementation of the policy. This manifesto also benefited from the tremendous work we did in the development and promulgation of our progressive agenda. In fact, we've borrowed a lot of the methodologies of the progressive agenda, focusing on those three principles enunciated in the PAR concept, which is participation, accountability, and responsibility. Recognizing that as a future government, we are not going to be leading a country without embracing the various partners as we go ahead, as we implement, as we review policies. It is going to be a participatory approach. It is going to involve, and we want to call upon the responsibility of all our people, and certainly as a government, we are going to be entirely accountable. I should also mention, again, going back to the seriousness with which we have taken this approach, that every single spokesperson has the benefit of a technical support team. We were mandated by our leader to establish task forces, and these task forces comprise people of tremendous learning and experience. I have 2 university professors on my task force. I have students, I have consumers, I have business people that assist me in developing this framework that we believe has benefited from their tremendous experience. And I can speak on behalf of my other colleagues that this is the approach adopted throughout. So this really represents a most dynamic approach to the development of policy, and we want to commend it as an approach that we will adopt as the next government of Jamaica. I'll say some opening remarks about the two areas that I have responsibility for. And in relation to both, I can say definitively that nothing much has happened since 2007. On the ICT side, we left a sector that for us was the leading sector in the entire English-speaking Caribbean in relation to the projection that we had and the vision that we had for Jamaica. Indeed, the liberalization of telecommunications was the first of its kind anywhere in the world, where we were able to get a company like Cable and Wireless to relinquish its monopoly on all aspects of telecommunications without having to pay compensation. In Hong Kong, they were paid $2 billion. We were able to achieve that. But as you know, it was more than just getting our people to have greater access to basic telecommunication services. It was to enable us to become a part of the emerging information age. And in that regard, Jamaica was the leading country up to 2007. When you look at all the international ratings of Jamaica, we were at the forefront. We have fallen terribly behind. In fact, our leadership at both the Caribbean level and the International Telecommunications Union is now almost non-existent. We pride ourselves, for example, in 2008 in being responsible for the accession of the new Secretary General of the ITU. We were able to mobilize the Caribbean support, and we got, we believe, through our numbers, that victory. We have declined significantly. Our aim to enable Jamaica to become a part of the knowledge-based world was buttressed by a number of policy activities, primarily the primary one being the establishment of a universal access facility. A definition of universal access now that embrace not only people having access to voice telecommunications, but people having access to the tools for enabling us to become a knowledge-based society. We are very disappointed that the e-learning project, which was to revolutionize the way we deliver, the way we teach our youngsters, starting at the secondary school level, that project has really fallen flat since 2007. In fact, at that time, we had over $5 billion collected from ACES for persons who call Jamaica, and that money has not gone towards the purpose for which it was. We are going to re-establish that fund. We are going to give it proper legal standing, and we are going to now expand the concept of universal access to enable every single Jamaican to have access to broadband telecommunications. In time to come, Omar, people are no longer going to segment countries based on their per capita income. In time to come, it is going to be bits per second per capita. So our status as first world in time to come is going to be based on how much our people have access to broadband technology, the bits per second that each Jamaican will have. And one of the things that this government didn't realize, and I have been pointing it out to them from 2007, is that when Flow got their license to operate in Jamaica, to run fiber optic cables across the length and breadth of Jamaica, we as a government, in negotiating with them, got access to some of that fiber. We have significant fiber owned by the government of Jamaica that has been lying idle for the last 4 years. They are unlit, dark fiber. That fiber could enable the government of Jamaica to establish its own telecommunications infrastructure to cut the cost of telecommunication services to itself, and perhaps to look at how we can deal with some special segment of the population. And that is very significant, because if the government is to become more cost effective, if we are going to deal with some of the requirements of the IMF, not in terms of cutting staff, but becoming more efficient to cut costs, then this is one area where significant cuts can take place. And we are going to light that fiber to enable the transmission of telecommunication signal. And we are going to use it in a creative way to buttress some of the job creation activities that we're seeking to achieve. There's some other areas that we're going to be looking at to cut costs. This whole business of proprietary software, where every year we have to pay Microsoft millions and millions of dollars. We're going to now be utilizing what we call free and open source software, cutting the costs, enabling our people to develop on open source software to suit some of the problem solving needs of the state.